Welcome, viewers, to another episode of Relationships Wednesdays. And my name is Sami Wario. I'll be your host. I'm glad to be joined today by our guests who are, members of AIC Riruta. And I'm going to introduce Mr. and Mrs. Wario so that they can introduce themselves briefly and tell us what they do. And we can start with Mrs. Wario. Karibu.
Asante sana, Mr. Sami. I'm happy to be here this morning. I am Esther Gadoni Wario. I love Jesus Christ as my Savior. I'm a woman of God. I'm married to one dear husband, Francis Wario. I'm a mother of 2 children, a son and a daughter. I'm a friend. I'm a neighbor. I'm a colleague to people because I'm a teacher who teaches special need children with different or diversity in disabilities in an inclusive way. Yeah.
That's great to hear. Mr. Wario, just briefly tell us what you do and, of course, your name.
Thank you, Sam. My name is Francis Mwangi Wario. I am saved. I love the Lord as my personal Savior. I serve as an elder here in AIC Riruta, and this is an honor for me. I'm married to one gorgeous wife, Mrs. Wario, to my left, and also the father of 2 children, as she mentioned. And I am an agronomist. That's somebody who works with farmers to help them to produce or to grow food. And that's what I do for a living. I work for a company known as Coopers.
That's great to hear from both of you. Welcome to the show. And I'm going to briefly start by asking you, how has your marriage been? For how long have you been married? And we can start with Mrs. Wario.
Thank you, Mr. Sami, again. I'm married for 21 years. This August will be turning to our 21st anniversary. We got wedded in the year 1999, August 7th. So we are looking forward to celebrate our 21st anniversary next month on 7th, that is August 7th. About my marriage, I can say it's a good thing. It has been good. I take marriage to be an adventure. An adventure has both excitement and risk part of it. I also take marriage as an institution whereby we learn a lot. To me, I take marriages are not the same. My marriage and your marriage are not the same. We have different ways of taking through the marriages. So how you carry on your marriage, how you go through it, it's different. It's different to how I do it myself. So I take it as an institution where we learn differently. It is never the same. I can also say marriage was authored by God. God ordained marriage, and he started it with Adam and Eve. God created Adam first. Let alone he found that Adam needed a helper. And he found him a suitable helper. He gave him a suitable helper who was Eve. So in marriage, me as a woman, I'm there as a helper to my husband. I thank God for the marriage life as an institution whereby you live as to understand one another so that you can come up with the goals that are intended for marriage. As a woman and man, or as a wife and husband, you obviously have set goals for your marriage so that even the marriage can run through well and smoothly. So I thank God for my marriage. I can't complain. Yes.
Yeah, great to hear. And I don't know whether to say congratulations in advance for your anniversary coming next month, you said.
Thank you.
It has been 21 years, Mr. Wario. How will you describe your journey in marriage?
Thank you. As my wife has said, it's been quite a journey. It's been one filled with so many experiences, but overall, it's a very happy and fulfilling journey. Because first of all, in a marriage, first of all, there is partnership. The two people become one, as the Bible tells us. And therefore, there is companionship, which means that you're no longer lonely. You have somebody you can share with, you can share your good times, and you can share your bad times. And that is the most important thing about marriage, that you're not walking alone. There have been good times, and there have been bad times. When you are going into marriage, you take a vow that whether there is sickness, whether there is health, whether there is poverty, whether there is richness, you are in this together. And so I can say that it's been quite exciting to travel together with my wife and then later on with our children. When we have not, when the going has been tough, when we have been in the valley, we have learned to trust and have faith in God to take us through. We have learned that love is what matters in our family, so that it's the thread that binds us together. When one is going through issues, the others are there for them to help them to come through. Just by understanding what they're going through, we are there for them to listen to their problems and give whatever we can, because we know that they are part of us. So it's been an exciting journey. I can tell you, for an example, when we were having our children, we had to wait for a long time before we could get our children. 5 years from the day we married. And that sometimes we were very discouraged until we reached the point where we decided, and after discussing it, and God spoke to us, and we just gave the issues to Him and said, if it's your will we have children, then so be it. But if it's your will we don't have children, we are happy and we accepted that we would live together as husband and wife, even if we don't have children. And that is the point when God now gave us children. So we learned this lesson. God used that to teach us that we need to have faith in Him, and that He has a purpose for our individual lives and also as our common life as a family. And this has given us a lot of hope in the future. And we have seen our children grow. They are now teenagers, and we are continuing to trust and have faith in Him that He shall continue to guide our family, that our family will be one that will reflect His glory at the end.
Yeah. That is great to hear that you had 5 years of waiting, and it shows that you have learned a lot about God, and it has also taught you to be patient, to trust in God. And that's something great. And I know there are people out there who don't have that kind of patience. Mrs. Wario, I don't know, how was it during those 5 years? What were your fears? What would you encourage other people out there who probably are also going through the same?
Thank you, Mr. Sami. When we realized that we were not able to get our heart desires, you know, before we got wedded, we started by asking God. Let me say, we gave God a package of what you need to, of what you need to, for God to give you as a, towards your spouse or your partner in life. I found out that God would give you exactly what you ask for. One thing that I realized through my husband was that the two of us, we had similar needs for one another. We realized that we had willingness in commitment and availability in our marriage. So we needed one another very much. For a marriage to be through, we have to be there for one another. You have to avail yourself. And commitment. So our first desire was to have kids immediately after wedding. It happened that we didn't have our kids that we had planned. It took all that time, 5 years to go through. To me, I was worried. I was full of anxiety. When we went through the medical counseling and, medical help, it turned up that we were going through anxiety. So we had to fight that anxiety. I became a bit worried. I feared for my marriage. I felt my spirit was also crushed. Your marriage, you're counting years, 1, 2, 3, up to 5, and you don't have a baby. It's that feeling a woman goes through. There are those emotional feelings you also get, and at times you don't feel like sharing with anybody. So the only person you needed to be close to you was your husband. So for me, I can say he was with me throughout. He availed himself. He was with me throughout. He was my best friend at that moment. When we were told that anxiety was the one that was making us, not myself, not to conceive, I decided to change my line from getting babies to something else. I went back into books. That is now when I joined a college and decided to do special need education. I studied about the children with disabilities in schools. And by the time I was completing my 3 years course, I realized I had conceived out of nowhere. And I had to thank God. I had to glorify God because by His grace, I endured all that time. And here I am, carrying the fruit of my womb. I remember the day I was supposed to graduate for my diploma course. God blessed me in a way I can say double portion. The day I was giving birth to my baby, the same day they were graduating back there in the college. So to me, I find this is amazing. This is a miracle to me, a miracle to the two of us, because it came out unexpectedly. Later on, after 2 years again, we were blessed with another baby, a daughter. The first one was the son. So I thank God, because you see, without putting God across in your marriage is made up of 3 people: husband, wife, and God. God must come in. It is like having a marriage without God. You compare it with a company without a CEO. You know, the CEO is the one who directs, who moderates what goes through the company.
Yes, sure.
Yes, for us, God came in for us, and He guided us. He comforted us. He gave us the strength.
Okay.
We went through those years without questioning Him, and we had the support from our family members, from our friends, and from the church that we used to attend by then. That was Parklands Baptist Church at Westlands.
Yeah.
So God comes in. When you rely on Him, He's there to direct you. He's there to guide you. He's there to give you the strength. So you become strong. You find that you're not the only one who goes through, because I compare my case with Sarah in the Bible. Even Sarah stayed all her life up to when she was 90. That is when she conceived. For me, it was only 5 years, so I didn't take it that much. So inside me, I had that worry. But through the prayers, through trusting in God and believing in Him, He came by and blessed me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a great testimony to hear. And as you said, it gives an example of Sarah, and we really thank God for that. Mr. Wario, we know that you are an elder in the church, so you're in the leadership here, and also you said you're agronomist, and now you have a family. Maybe you can just tell us, how are you able to balance all this?
Thank you for that question. It's quite an interesting question. As you say, the church life, church ministry is very busy, and I'm also quite busy at my job. And family life is perhaps the most engaging.
Okay.
So it's quite a challenge, but I've learned over the years to realize what are my priorities in life.
Yeah.
And I've realized that my family comes first. I need to meet the needs of my family, their emotional needs, as well as their physical needs. I need to be there for them.
Yeah.
Especially when my children are growing up. So I try as much as possible to ensure that I make time for my family. Often I'm away from home because of work. I go out for several days in the field. But I always try, when I come back, to try to recover that time which I've lost with my children, to be with them as much as possible.
Okay.
And the idea is to spend quality time. If you cannot always be there with your children, when you have the few minutes, you ensure that it's quality time.
Yeah. If it's hide and seek they want.
You play the games they want you to play with them, daddy. Let them open up to you. Listen to them, because they'll be wanting to tell you so much. They have been going through their own experiences, because they're also individual human beings.
True.
And they have their stress that you're also having, but in different ways. And they have their joys and they have their sorrows. So as children, if they are able to open to you, and you can and they can tell you what's going on in their lives, then it makes it easier for them, and they feel also that in their home that they are wanted, and they are comfortable, and they feel secure. That even if whatever happens out there, even if daddy is gone, when he comes, then we'll be able to share with him. So that for me has been the key issue, to prioritize my family. If there is an issue at work, but my family needs me, I will try to concentrate on the family issue. Sometimes it's not possible.
Okay.
Because again, work will sometimes take a lot of your time without, for example, if I'm away abroad,
Yeah.
I can't come take the next flight home. So sometimes it's very challenging. But when I'm around, when I'm available, I try to maximize on that time.
Okay.
And also now give enough time to the church.
Yeah.
When there are meetings called, I try as much as possible to attend so that I can also play my part in helping the church community.
Yeah, that's great to hear. So I will want to, because of time, I'm going to do the last two questions combined together. And we'll start with Mrs. Wario. And this is in regards to career. So this, you said you're a teacher. And of course, combining with your career, there's the aspect of being a carer, in the house. How do you combine career and that aspect of you also balancing time for family? Just briefly tell us how that has been.
Thank you, Sammy, again. Being a career woman and a family person, it's a challenge again here. One has to be a hard worker. Myself, I try my best to combine both and to succeed in the goals that pertains both. That is working class and being a homemaker. As women, we also contribute into the productivity of family issues and home. I try my best to succeed in both. When I go to work, I make sure I wear the kabuti work. That is the dust coat.
Yeah.
Yeah, teachers wear dust coats, just like factories, they do.
Yeah.
So when it is work time, ni mimi na dust coat yangu.
Yeah.
When I'm done with teaching, I leave everything to do with teaching.
Yeah.
Everything to do with work matters at school. The moment I leave the gate of the school, I leave everything behind concerning my work and head now to home. When I arrive home, I put on my apron. When I'm in my apron, I am now a homemaker. I am a caregiver. I'm a nurse. I'm a comforter.
Yeah.
All those things come along. So schoolwork is schoolwork. Homework, that is as a home care, I'm there to give what is needed at home.
Yeah.
I play the role of a wife. I play the role of a mother. And I try my best to compensate. I compensate the link of good relationship with my children and my husband when I'm at home.
Yeah.
So it's a challenge, although I also have to try and beat the laziness so that I'm able to work to balance the both.
Yeah.
The both work at school and work at home. So again, with the God's grace, He's the one who gives that power to a woman. We also multitask. Sometimes you can also work at home. Maybe you are working on a computer there.
Yes.
And at the same time, you are sweeping, you are cleaning the dishes, you're feeding your children. And all of them will not go haywire because you know how to balance them.
True.
So I thank God because He made that woman, or He made a woman to be a strong person to be able to handle all this together. So schoolwork and my workplace matters. I leave them at workplace. When I'm at work, I handle them differently with the way I handle my homemaker issues.
Yes.
At home.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great to hear. And God has given women that energy and that ability to multitask.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we really appreciate for the work that you do at home.
Thank you.
And I will want to finalize with Mr. Wario and ask him, what encouragement will you want to give to the young men, people who are young in relationship, young couples? And we know that men have been, in most cases, being blamed for negligence. How will you want to encourage them?
Don't give up. Don't give up. Your family is worth fighting for.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things that you'll go through.
Mm-hmm.
You will go through discouragements. You'll go through emotional issues. It's a struggle.
Yeah.
But work at your family day to day. Make sure that you commit your marriage to God and commit your family to God every single morning so that God can renew your strength from day to day. Don't allow discouragement. Don't allow emotional distress. Don't allow any disagreements that may happen in your family to discourage you. Because at the end of the day, all those things are helping you to become stronger in your marriage.
Sure.
And above all, give yourself time.
Mm-hmm.
Have some own time away from everything.
Yeah.
So that you can relax and you can meditate between yourself and God. Find a corner of the house where nobody else goes. Maybe it's your favorite chair,
Yeah.
or a part of the somewhere where you can sit. And for when you're feeling down, take your Bible, go and be alone. And God will help you to overcome whatever crisis you're having.
Yeah.
Sometimes the economy, because we know the economy is very bad at the moment, it's very painful when a man comes home with nothing to give his children and his family.
Yeah.
Take courage. God is in control. And God has a purpose for you.
Yeah.
He does not wish for any person to not succeed in his life, both materially and emotionally.
Yes.
So it will be well. And even the economy, as we speak, it's improving. Even though we are having COVID, we know that the Kenyan economy has good roots and a good foundation.
Yeah.
So it will recover. Take heart.
Yeah.
And even if you need to adjust a few things in your life so that you can be able to provide for your children during these hard times,
Yes.
do it. Go to a cheaper house if you need to. Eat cheaper food if you need to. But at the end of the day, take courage, because you will pull through and your family will pull through. Don't give in to thoughts of violence in the family, because it's happening a lot because of stress. People are having a lot of hardship in the family until we see a lot of violence. Don't give in to thoughts of suicide and other things.
Yeah.
God will see you through as a man, because He ordained you as the priest of your family.
Yes.
And He will pull you through.
Yes.
And I know this because I know God has been faithful in my life. God has been faithful in our marriage, and He will still continue to be faithful in my life. He will also be faithful in yours.
Yes.
And so for those young people who are facing these kind of hardships, I just want to encourage them.
Yes.
And I want to, even those young men who are finding it so difficult even to think about having families and to get married.
Yes.
Again, be encouraged. That is your destiny. You will have a family.
Yeah.
You will get married. You will raise a successful family. Because this is the will of God in your life. So be encouraged. It may not be the right time at the moment, but soon or sometime, God will open a way for you, and you shall also be able to have a family that will be successful, as long as you put your faith and trust in Him.
Thanks, Mr. and Mrs. Wario, for that kind encouragement. I personally am encouraged, and doing 10 years in marriage and hearing your story, your 21 years journey, I'm personally encouraged, and I believe also our viewers out there have been encouraged as well. And I would want to request you to continue following our Relationship Wednesdays for more of such kind of encouragement. We are on Facebook as AIC Riruta Local Church and also YouTube as AIC Riruta. Thank you and be blessed.